Now, William Taylor, former U.S. ambassador to Ukraine, now vice president for Russia and Europe at the U.S. Institute of Peace. This is a high-stakes meeting, not just with the president later today, but with Congress. I mean, meeting with very skeptical House Republicans and senators as well. He's got a tough row to hoe here because 20 months into this war, this is another big ask, and it seems as though the sell isn't assured.
Well, Marni, the sell is not assured, but let's step back. There were only, I think you just reported that there were 24 people signed this letter out of 535 House and Senate members. So it's a very small part of the Congress that is signing up to oppose this assistance. That is, most of the senators, most of the senators, and a majority of the House of Representatives on both sides are going to support this assistance because exactly what you were just reporting. That is, Russia is invading a smaller nation, has invaded us and has fought for 19 months against a much smaller nation that is defending itself, a democracy that's defending itself. And so we are trying to support that democracy. We're supporting Ukraine as it defends itself. But Marni, it's also defending Europe, and therefore it's defending NATO, and therefore it's defending us. So that's the message that President Zelenskyy is giving both the House and the Senate, now the Pentagon, and soon to be talking again to the president. But all of those, Marni, are supportive. There are minority views, but the overwhelming support so far is likely to continue.
Right. And I guess the most compelling argument would be, do we want to send financial aid, whether it be military or humanitarian aid to Ukraine, or do we want U.S. troops on the ground and World War III? That is what Zelenskyy has said, even as recent as his interview on 60 Minutes on Sunday night. He said, if Ukraine falls, Putin will go further. What will the United States do when Putin reaches the Baltic states, the Polish border? His argument is compelling. However, I'm wondering if he's speaking with Congress directly because he feels as though the president hasn't adequately made that argument to the American people and to skeptical members of Congress.
So I don't think that he's concerned about the president making this case. The president has made this case.
Pardon me 1 minute. I believe that Zelenskyy is speaking. Let's listen in.
What do you say to Vladimir Putin? What's your message to Vladimir Putin?
All right. Well, his message to Vladimir Putin, although he continues to walk away, is that he's a second Hitler and that he does pose a serious global threat because of his nuclear capability, and he called him a non-human in recent comments. So he's very concerned about Vladimir Putin, and he wants help, and he's here in person asking for it. I'll let you continue to answer the question I posed a moment ago, sir.
But also, Marni, just in terms of Zelensky's attitude toward Putin, he will not negotiate with him. He has said that it makes no sense to negotiate with this person who never abides by agreements. So he's ready to negotiate. President Zelenskyy has laid out a peace plan over and over in several different places, and most recently at the UN Security Council. And he's laid it out for all to see, and he's there. He's at the peace formula. However, it requires the Russians to get out of his country. So that's his main message. He just wants the Russians out of his country. He wants the respect due to a sovereign nation. With its sovereign borders. He just wants the Russians out, and that's the message that he is making. And that has received strong support, as I say, from the Congress, from the president, and from the Pentagon, where he's headed right now.
But he has clearly been frustrated that although he's received a great amount of support financially from the U.S., it often comes 6 months too late, right? Whether it's military jets or other artillery and munitions. He gets what he asks for, but he's in war. Right? He needs it yesterday, and that has been some of his criticism, although thankful for U.S. aid.
Very thankful for U.S. aid. You're exactly right. That's his first message every time. Thank you very much for the aid. And you're right also, he needs more, and he needs it now. And there's one weapon system that is primed to go that can help him right now, can help Ukraine right now on the battlefield in this counteroffensive, and that's these long-range missiles.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.